Coming up tonight, the TUC and NCTU say they are enjoying a good working relationship with the government and remain optimistic about the same. Meanwhile, the NTC chief says she is not surprised with the niceties announced for public servants coming out of the budget presentation. And what was a goodwill exercise from a church in Nigeria resulted in a stampede where 31 people lost their lives. Welcome to our News Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Union leaders from the Trade Union Congress and National Congress of Trade Unions still optimistic that their outstanding labor issues will be resolved. The two unions say they are still enjoying a good working relationship with the government.
A few of the matters was resolved. There are a lot more outstanding. However, this is more progress than we've made in the past 4 years under the previous administration. It is this reality that leaves the CBTUC to be more optimistic about the way forward.
Just before the 2021 general election, the Trade Union Congress signed a memorandum of understanding where the Progressive Liberal Party pledged to address key labor issues if elected to government. Under the MOU, the parties agreed the PLP would be supported by the labor movement to become the next government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The chairman of the TUC's Labor Day Committee highlighted some matters that have been resolved thus far.
A resolution between the Locayan Renewal Holdings and the Bahamas Managerial Association. The Bahamas Electrical Workers Union industrial agreement signed and registered. Several matters with the Custom and Immigration Union has been resolved. A new registrar of trade unions have been appointed in the person of Mr. Van Delaney. The Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union have been recognized by the Department of Labor on April 1st, 2022. All of the matters in regards to the Memorandum of Understanding, a resolution is currently being sought.
The Prime Minister's recent budget communication and reactions to it indicate labor affairs are a pressing concern for many, including the government. Now the National Tripartite Council is weighing in. Jean Joseph has that report.
National Tripartite Council Chairperson Sharon Martin says Prime Minister Davis's budget speech touched on many aspects of the International Labour Organization's Decent Work program.
There were very much certainly a lot of alignments to the Bahamas Decent Work Country program. I literally could have lifted off pages of the Decent Work Country program and attach, okay, this is what he's referring to.
Martin also says the Prime Minister's mention of possible discussions with union leaders about a contributory pension plan also aligned with the NTC's agenda. She weighed in on the issue, saying this.
The National Insurance Plan, for want of a better word, is a social security fund. There are different things than pension that national insurance does. We can't continue to think that NIB is going to be the catch-all or for everything. And so we think that when we retire, NIB is will give us X, Y, and Z.
The budget communication also highlighted proposed increases to the minimum wage, something the NTC has committed to addressing during its term.
So nothing caught us by surprise where the budget is concerned, where it deals with labor. You saw the minimum wage increase announced for the public servants, I guess as a stepping stone towards what we would consider our recommendation to the Cabinet of the Bahamas to consider a minimum wage increase for the country at large.
The NTC continues to advocate for jobs and employment creation, fundamental rights at work, social protection, and social dialogue. Reporting for our News, I am Jean Joseph.
New police recruits expressing excitement and optimism as they begin their new careers. Our News spoke with some of the newest officers following their graduation. Christina Dragovich has more.
I am so proud of you, honey. and Thanksgiving as 72 police recruits graduated on Friday. Among them, those who answered a call to serve the country and chart a new course. Police Constable Addison Bethel says his decision to join the police force was not solely for himself.
I just be a police officer, just to be a role model for my little brothers and truly show them what it is to be a real man and not to be a part of the statistics, being a part of the gangs and buying drugs, selling drugs and stuff like that. So me being here is something that they can look up to.
But the process wasn't as easy as it may sound. The newly graduated officers say some of the training was tough, but they got through it with a mission in mind. Recruit Cameron Sherry says it was a long 5 months.
Starting off, it was vigorous. It was very rough. Transitioning from a civilian lifestyle to something that requires a more conformed attitude. However, at the end of it all, it broke me down, but it built me up. And for that, I'm much grateful.
During the passing out ceremony on Friday, Police Commissioner Paul Roll explained the need for police officers to be prepared to go into the communities.
The senior executive leadership team under my leadership ushered in a surge of innovation and visionary change that has seen the force further modernized and professionalized to better serve the public. In that vein, I believe the change was warranted, as there must be continuous evolution. Evolution that I believe can only be continued one individual contribution at a time.
With that, the police force recognized those outstanding recruits, including the recipient of the Baton of Honor, Police Constable Aaron Smith.
I feel very happy, and I think it's a big accomplishment. I really wanted this, and I'm just proud of myself, and I just want to be the best police officer that I can be. Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovich.
Still to come on our news, we have an update on the invasion of Ukraine along with world headlines. And as we said, stay tuned for an announcement that's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamika.
The Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress swearing in a new slate of officers earlier today, but President Belinda Wilson emerges as president of that organization. Our news was there for the announcement.
Every union you see here was a part of another Congress. So as of today, we no longer affiliate with any other Congress other than the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress.
The newly formed union is made up of 6 unions and 2 associations, namely the Airport, Airline and Allied Workers Union, Bahamas Financial Services Union, Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Bahamas Public Service Union, Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, Bahamas Union of Teachers, Police Staff Association, and Correctional Officer Staff Association. The new president, Belinda Wilson, explains why they felt this move was necessary.
Well, we really wanted to put it together because we want to make sure that we have a group that gives labor an opportunity to be sustainable. If you look at most of us,
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning of famine and a hunger catastrophe as he accused Russia of blocking grain exports from its war-torn country. America has described Russia's actions as an effort to break the spirit of the Ukrainian people. During remarks at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland this past week, Zelensky said Russian forces were blocking Ukraine from exporting 22 million tons of food products, including grain, barley, sunflower, and more. President Zelensky says if Ukraine does not export in the coming months, and if there are no political agreements with Russia through intermediaries, there will be famine, there will be catastrophe, there will be a deficit, and as a result of all of this, there will be a high price. And in other news around the world, according to officials in the Biden administration, a court ruling blocking the termination of a Trump-era pandemic restriction at the U.S.-Mexico border is unlikely to slow border crossings. This as migration in the Western Hemisphere reaches new highs. U.S. President Joe Biden has faced mounting pressure over his handling of the U.S.-Mexico border. This has divided members of his own party following a decision by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to lift Title 42, which allows authorities to swiftly turn people away at the border, effectively barring migrants from seeking asylum. And just this week, Assistant Secretary of State for the Western Hemisphere, Brian Nichols, traveled to New Providence on a fact-finding trip. While speaking with the media, the diplomat was asked about the repeal of Title 42.
Title 42 is an extraordinary measure. It's a health-related measure that streamlines the removal of sub-migrants due to the health emergency as declared by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. When Title 42 goes away, Title 8, which is basically the regular order operation of the border, which existed prior to the pandemic, will resume. And U.S. Immigration authorities will carry out normal protection and screening of migrants, but those who do not have a legal reason to enter the United States will be removed. That will be our policy.
And heart-wrenching news coming out of Nigeria. According to police and security officials, more than 30 people were killed and others injured when a stampede erupted at a church event in the southeastern city of Port Harcourt yesterday. Most of the casualties were children. Nigerian police report that huge crowd became uncontrollable at the event, where organizers distributed food and gifts. Just after the break, a cancer survivor explains how exercise is key to a healthy lifestyle. And our NBA. We have those details when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
This is our news. Welcome back. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Mary Gibson, a cancer survivor and paddling expert, says exercise is the key to a healthy life, especially for those whose natural defenses have been compromised by cancer. She tells our Jean Joseph about her experience with cancer and how survivors thrive through exercise.
Health professionals often tell cancer survivors to minimize activity, but that advice may not be the best. Mary Gibson, International President of the International Breast Cancer Paddlers Commission, says aside from the obvious fitness benefits, paddling not only provides relief for lymphedema, but can also prevent the condition that occurs when lymph is not able to properly flow through the body.
The premise of why breast cancer survivors should dragon boat or should do this as a sport was to completely disprove that we should do nothing. So initially, people when they were had surgery or were diagnosed, they would literally sit at home and curl up in a little ball. And after surgery, often their bodies would curl around because there was no movement and they weren't encouraged to move. So Dr. Don McKenzie, who's a sports medicine physician in Canada, he wanted to disprove that theory and basically used these 24 survivors as guinea pigs, and nobody got lymphedema, and those who had it found that their symptoms were a lot less prevalent.
Gibson says that while paddling is especially beneficial to breast cancer survivors, everybody should get active, regardless of their current activity level.
It's good for anybody and everybody to get out there, to be active, to participate in some kind of exercise. And in a lot of ways, whilst this is repetitive upper body exercise, which makes it very good for breast cancer survivors, it is also a way to be involved where you don't have to be an elite athlete, you don't have to feel like you can't do it, because you've got 22 other people in that boat who are all supporting you.
Dr. Williamson Shea, a general surgeon at Doctors Hospital, recommends physical activity for all, as he has seen the benefits in his patients.
Dragon boat itself is a nice physical activity that helps assist in the aftercare and prevents lymphedema. So that is a trust of benefits of dragon boat racing for breast cancer per se, yes.
Now, while a cancer diagnosis may be devastating to many, it is not necessarily the end of the world. Gibson encourages those who may be on this journey to get active, grab the paddle, and take control of their lives.
When you're diagnosed, you lose control. You're in the hands of the doctors. You're in the hands of fate, wherever that may take you. By joining this sport, you regain that control of your life. And I can't express that strongly enough, because that's exactly what happens. You're back in control.
If you want to be a part of the movement, the Cancer Society and the Bahamas Chinese Dragon Boat Association will host training sessions on June 3rd and 4th. For more information on participating as a trainer or a crew member, visit the website at bcdragonboat.com. Reporting for our News, I'm Gene Joseph.
Great advice. Thanks, Gene. The Falcons Boys Club expanding its reach this past weekend, giving back food, drinks, and clothing to those in need. Director Pastor Darren Roll says each month the club hosts a Peace in the Streets Day, and this month his team decided to feed 1,000.
We just wanted to find other means other than the food and the drinks to do something, as we are about to close. We were open since September, since school opened, and we closed when school closed. So next week Saturday is going to be our last official Saturday for the year because school is about to close.
Connie Mizik has been partnering with Roll for years now. She says it's always a joy to give back, and she is encouraging more Bahamians to pitch in and do what they can.
It's important that we all give back. We are a small country, but we are blessed country, and it is very important for us to look out for each other, provide for each other, always make sure that someone else has what is needed, because we have what we need. It's important that we go through, because sometimes there are things in our closet that we have not worn for years. We just need to have faith that God will always provide for us, and so give to the less fortunate, and it will always come back to us.
Volunteers in the initiative, Kiara Rigby Tupperville, Solanka Julian, and Daria Roberts say they believe children are being led astray at early ages. They say mentoring programs such as the Falcons Boys Club are extremely beneficial in providing good role models for young people.
I could say as early as 4, really, really young, and they tend to grow up with that. Their foundation probably is not solid, so initiatives like this and initiatives like Kiwanis and Rotary, we're here to serve them and to help them and to steer them in the right direction. Give them hope.
I would say in their teenage years, when the influence is there, when the peer pressure is there, and also a lot of young men, they don't have a lot of guidance. So what we saw here today, even when we came earlier, we saw full action of what Mr. Darren Rollos do here.
The young people, particularly the young men that are out here today, they're the next generation of Bahamians. They're going to lead households. They'll become the prime minister, the lawyers, the doctors, all sectors of society. And so it is our duty to make sure to mentor them and to train them in the various aspects. They need to know what a man looks like. And so we give examples of what men look like. Case in point, our pastor, Darren Roll, has been a great mentor for individuals in the Grand Bahama community and continues to do so.
And now our Marcellus Hall has the latest on the NBA Finals.
Celtics and the Miami Heat. The winner goes on to the NBA Finals to take on the Golden State Warriors, who are sitting patiently and waiting. Game tonight will be in Miami. We'll see which team indeed gets the win and moves on.
When we return from the break, the weather forecast is on the way. And check out Mangrove Mania in Grand Bahama. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
Welcome back. The Bahamas Department of Meteorology issuing a severe thunderstorm warning this morning. Here in New Providence, we experienced lots of lightning and thunder earlier in the day. Let's take a look at how weather is shaping up over the next few days. The Bahamas National Youth Choir is still in New York just after performing at Carnegie Hall. Here's some words from the choir director, Dexter Fernando.
I'm really appreciative of the opportunity, Dr. Sinclair and Zenobia Pierre, for including the choir. It shows that we are reaching to those standards, international standards of singing, with the same things as a teacher. It's seeing at different levels where the things that you're taught at home are international standards. So we're appreciative of the music, the text, and to be at a place during this place where we are in the pandemic, to be out and singing and in safe environments.
Mangroves are the last defense locally, with climate change threatening our islands and rising temperatures killing coral reefs that protect coastlines and marine life from storms and erosion. Now, a group of Grand Bahama environmentalists are coming together to ensure that mangroves multiply. Our Jean Joseph has more on Mangrove Mania.
Mangroves sustain fisheries and serve as tourist attractions, but they are also an important buffer between our homes and storm surges. During Hurricane Dorian, some East Grand Bahama communities experienced 17-inch storm surges, and many persons are still missing, while places like Sweetens Key, surrounded by mangroves, reported no deaths. Grand Bahama environmentalists are now recruiting everyday citizens to bring our mangrove numbers up. They recently kicked off Mangrove Mania, a drive to plant more than 30,000 mangrove trees with cash prizes for participants. Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Roll, says she is committed to the cause and is hopeful about the future.
I applaud the work and the commitment of the team from Waters Keepers and its partners through continuous education and the creation of initiatives like Mangrove Mania. The Ministry for Grand Bahama pledges its support and is open to collaborate on future initiatives that will further educate the community and about the importance of preserving the ecosystem and the significant role that the mangrove forests play in our island's infrastructure.
Rupert Hayward, GBPA Executive Director and Blue Action Lab founder, notes the mangrove's importance, but also sees the initiative as a springboard into new economies and opportunities for Bahamians.
We might just be here planting mangroves today, but the second step is developing blue carbon economies and how Web3 and NFTs can be used to work with carbon, to work with mangrove restoration to fund them. The opportunities are wide and they're diverse, and it's really incumbent on all of us to take advantage of these opportunities.
Wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, encourages participants to go above and beyond as we restore our mangroves.
We want to strengthen our shorelines, and wherever it's needed, we want to strengthen it, whether it's just Grand Bahama, probably some in Abaco and wherever else. So a minimum of 30,000 mangrove plants is what we're looking for. And that's the charge that you were given, and we would like more.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Gene Joseph.
We thank you so much for tuning into Our News Weekend Edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Continue to have a safe and wonderful weekend.